All right. So hello and good afternoon. Welcome everybody. I really appreciate you joining us here today. It's a celebration for engineering and public works excellence as we spotlight the Bert T. Mountain Parkway Expansion project and the investments being made for safer travel and generational economic development for the Commonwealth. My name is Russ Romine. I'm the Executive Director of the Kentucky chapter of the American Council of Engineering Companies. The Engineering and Public Works Roadshow is a partnership between three national organizations: the American Council of Engineering Companies, ACEC, the American Public Works Association, which is APWA, and the American Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE. This roadshow is a national effort dedicated to the celebration of transformational engineering examples, showcasing what can happen when federal and state governments work together to fund improvements in our most critical infrastructure. This partnership also serves to encourage the next generation of engineers. We need more engineers. I know workforce is a major challenge, and certainly it is for my members. So this partnership is hopefully going to encourage that next generation and also public works professionals to pursue a career in engineering so they one day can be part of a transformational project such as this. We are honored to have been invited by Governor Beshear to hold this event in the Capitol Rotunda, and we appreciate your presence here today. We're also pleased to be joined by Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Secretary Jim Gray, the Federal Highway Administration's Kentucky Division Administrator Todd Jeter, and Chairman of the House Transportation Committee, Chairman John Blanton. Of course, I'd like to personally acknowledge my members, ACEC Kentucky members, the engineering firms, plus the construction firms that really have done the work. They've done everything to help deliver this transformational project, and they've helped get it to where it is today. So thank you all very much. At this point, we're going to jump into the program, and I'm going to call ACEC Executive Vice President Steve Hall to the podium for a few remarks.
Thank you, Russ, and wonderful to be here this afternoon. Thank you for having me. On behalf of the American Council of Engineering Companies and the nation's engineering industry, to honor a wonderful project, the Mountain Parkway Expansion project, and what a great venue to do this. So, Governor, thank you for having us. ACEC is America's engineering industry, representing over 5,500 companies around the state of Kentucky, throughout the country, and operating throughout the world in support of the nation's diplomatic and national security missions. Our members see firsthand every day the critical importance of investing in the nation's infrastructure, not only to repair and fix what we already have, but to invest in projects like the Mountain Parkway that become the catalyst for a better and more prosperous future. ACEC was a strong supporter of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in Congress. It's investing $1.3 trillion nationwide in transportation, water, and other forms of infrastructure. We support initiatives like IIJA and what we hope will replace IIJA because they make projects like this one possible. Which brings us to Frankfurt. The latest stop in the Engineering Public Works Roadshow, as Russ indicated. This is a national effort being led by the nation's leading engineering organizations and public works organizations, really to celebrate, as Russ indicated, transformational projects that engineer and the engineers who design them and help deliver them to the public. We also celebrate elected leaders and policymakers at the local, state, and federal level that have the vision to see how infrastructure investments can drive economic growth, create jobs, and make a difference in people's lives for generations to come. For this reason, we're very pleased and honored to be here today with Governor Andy Beshear. Thank you, Governor, for your vision and your leadership in moving this project forward. Thanks to Chairman Blanton for your support and participation. And again, I would echo Russ's thanks to Transportation Secretary Gray and the FHWA Administrator Jeter for the critical roles that you play every day in delivering transportation projects to the public. As I said, projects like the Mountain Parkway Expansion become a part of our daily lives, making it easier and safer to get to work, get to school. This project will also bring economic activity and jobs to a region in Kentucky that needs both. The engineering firms that worked on this project are very much a part of the fabric of the Commonwealth. These firms include QK4, HMB Professional Engineers, Stantec, HDR, Strand Associates, American Engineers, EA Partners, JMT, which is formerly Vaughan and Melton, H.W. Lochner, WSP, and of course Palmer Engineering, which is serving as the lead designer for the design-build team on the final segment of this project that we're talking about today. Many of these are homegrown Kentucky engineering firms. Others are large national firms that have put down Kentucky roots. But all of them work every day on projects just like this one to make our communities better places to live and work and play, and like I said, for generations now and to come. I also want to recognize Bizak Construction, and I don't know if Gary Taylor, the president of the company, is here. Thank you, sir, for being here. Bizak has worked on various aspects of this project, and they're the lead constructor for the design-build team on the final segment currently under development. On behalf of ACEC, thank you for the opportunity to celebrate this wonderful project and celebrate the partnership between Kentucky engineers and constructors, elected officials, and federal and state agency partners that made it happen. Thank you very much. Russ, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Steve Hall. Now I'd like to call to the podium Keith Pugh, who's past president with the American Public Works Association. Keith?
Thank you. I do have to work off written notes, otherwise I'll be here all day. So I know that's not what you're after. But Governor Beshear, distinguished guests, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. You know, when President Eisenhower started America's interstate highway system in 1956, he called it the greatest public works project in history. You know, there are many great public works projects happening right here in Kentucky, but the Mountain Parkway Expansion that we are highlighting today promises to be one of the most transformative. Not only is it the final section of the parkway, the McGoffin-Floyd segment, once completed, promises to be a lifeline for residents of eastern Kentucky. Communities and businesses will connect better once the parkway is finished, as it will improve safety, mobility, and spark new economic development. Like this project, the American Public Works Association is also committed to making transportation infrastructure safer, more resilient, and best able to meet the changing needs of the 21st century. The Engineering and Public Works Roadshow is shining bright lights on infrastructure projects throughout the country, projects like the Mountain Parkway Expansion. The Roadshow also wants people to know that we need them. High school students, graduates, mid-career job seekers need to know that public works departments and engineering firms need you. There are great careers available in public works and engineering. Imagine being able to tell your children and your grandchildren, I designed the Mountain Parkway, or I rebuilt the Brent Spence Bridge, or I reimagined 9th Street in Louisville. Imagine the pride you'll have being a part of these great infrastructure projects and the lasting legacy that leaves behind. APWA's vision statement is to advance the quality of life for all. Rebuilding and building our infrastructure like the Mountain Parkway does just that. It's deserving of a roadshow stop. Thank you.
Keith, thank you. Appreciate that. Now I'd like to call to the podium Marcia Gildert Murphy with ASCE, President, excuse me. I had it before.
I know, you did it. Russ did it perfectly when he came up and introduced me at first. First of all, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here. And I want to point out, I am an engineer, so I'm a little bit out on the skinny branches of the tree when I'm doing things like this. But my name is Marcia Gildert Murphy. I'm the president of the American Society of Civil Engineers, or ASCE, the other acronym. But my company is also a member of APWA and ACEC too, so we're a good family here. ASCE has been around since 1852. We are the oldest engineering professional association. We've got over 160,000 members in 177 countries. So we have a very broad reach as well. ASCE has developed codes and standards and manuals of practice and policies that are advocating to advance our natural built environment and also protecting the public's health and safety. The Mountain Parkway Extension is a perfect example of civil engineers and policy leaders coming together to improve the livelihoods of all Kentuckians. And I want to thank you, Governor Beshear, because this is a program that is needed and desperately needed throughout our country. Your leadership and support through the Better Kentucky initiative is an excellent demonstration of how states are prioritizing the infrastructure systems and workforce that we've all been talking about that we need more, that will ensure the public health and safety in the future generations. We often refer to major infrastructure projects like this as an investment, meaning that is not just money spent. We can expect something in return for this program and for this investment. That's exactly what Mountain Parkway Extension is. It's an investment. And it's an investment in Kentucky commuters so that they can feel more secure traveling on modernized roads. Communities can connect with ease. And now that the Parkway connects different regions in the state, they can connect more easily. And the Parkway connects from an economic standpoint as well. Goods and services can move more freely, generating commercial gains for the state. And we all saw recently within the last few years how importantly it is that we can move goods and services more freely and easily. It's extremely important to everyone, not just Kentuckians, but all of America. Every 4 years, ASCE releases a macroeconomic study that analyzes the infrastructure investments on the U.S. economy. Our next report, titled Bridging the Gap, is going to be released in April of this year. It will account for all of the recent federal legislation to advance infrastructure and state-led initiatives as well. These projects like these can only strengthen our country's economy, and that's the whole point of us coming here as a group, is to help everyone understand these projects, these initiatives, this work that has been led by Governor Beshear and many of the governors in our country are important for our country's economy. And we are so grateful for your continued efforts here, and we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here to celebrate this very important project. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marcia. We appreciate that. Now I'd like to call the KYTC Transportation Secretary to the podium, Jim Gray. Secretary.
Well, thanks, Russ. And before I offer a few remarks, let me say thanks to Chairman Blanton. We've both got a committee meeting that we've got to head to pretty quickly, so I know I'm going to remember those 5 B's of public speaking. Be brief, brother, be brief. I will do that. Todd Jeter, our division administrator for federal highways, who is a wonderful and extraordinary partner in everything that the cabinet does. And Representative Ashley Tackett Lafferty, whose district this project not only runs through and goes through, but will inspire in every way. Now, Governor, I held you to last because I'm going to tell a quick story. In December of 2019, when I met with then Governor-elect Andy Beshear, and he invited me to join his administration in this role. And he said, now, Jim, there's a lot of work to be done, and we've got priorities all across the state, in every county, everybody and everywhere. But there are 3 big projects, major projects, that are going to have a lasting impact on our state. And one is that bridge going across Ohio up in northern Kentucky called the Brent Spence, the new Brent Spence corridor. So he pointed that one out. Got to get it done without tolls. And he went over to the west and he said, we've got to get a bridge that's going to complete the I-69 corridor between Henderson and Evansville. And then finally he said, and not at all least, maybe last in the three that I'm mentioning, but it's the completion of the Mountain Parkway. And he said, I'm going to focus relentlessly, remember three words, focus, 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 on the completion of the Mountain Parkway. Well, we listened carefully to that for the last 4 years, and we are really fortunate to be here today and for this project to be recognized. Look around, and we have a solid group of advocates that are championing and have championed the completion of the Mountain Parkway expansion. No denying the importance and the need of good infrastructure across this state and for all the communities along the Mountain Parkway. Work on this scale doesn't just happen. It doesn't just spring up. It requires coordination and commitment from hundreds and literally even thousands of dedicated, hardworking folks, from transportation cabinet employees and contractors to the contractors and the construction crews to the local, state, and federal officials. And that's why we value the support of organizations like ACEC, like ASCE, and APWA. Now, there are a few folks in particular that I want to recognize here today who have played a significant role in the project since it began 10 years ago. Eric Skaggs. Eric, where are you? You were standing right back there. There's Eric. Eric is the Mountain Parkway Expansion Project Manager for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. He's based out of District 10, works with Corbett Caudle there, and a great team. And I also want to recognize David Kratt with QK4, who is the lead on the GEC. Now, I'd also want to recognize and thank the contractors. Already acknowledged BZAC and the great work that those guys are doing. The consultants and the firms who've worked on and are working on this project. They've become an extension of the Transportation Cabinet team that help us get the project done. Now, to date, 70% of the project is complete, and the remaining 30% is under construction or under development. Late last year, we opened a new cross-county section of Parkway in Magoffin West and expect that segment to be completed by the end of the year. We're actually literally moving mountains. In Wolfe County, we've moved more than 3 million cubic yards of earth in a single year. As the governor will share, Magoffin Floyd is the final segment to complete the Mountain Parkway. This administration is proving its priority with a funding proposal of $97.4 million in the governor's recommended highway plan, plus $300 million from the general fund. And we're also advancing this segment through innovative project planning, utilizing a design-build approach, which allows for more versatility and flexibility in design and the construction, and it helps to expedite the overall project timetable. So I'm honored to be a part of this cabinet and the extraordinary people that work with it, and a member of Governor Andy Beshear's team that's bringing this transformational infrastructure project across the finish line. Thanks, Russ. Yes, sir.
Don't run off. I've got
Don't
something
run
here.
off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just real quick. So, as I've got something here for you, but as a state government or career employee working for the Transportation Cabinet, I appreciate your service for one. But I also appreciate your leadership on this project.
Thank you so much, Russ. Hey, that's impressive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Chairman Blanton, I'm going to move you up if that's okay, because I know you have a meeting to go to as well. So Chairman Blanton is, John Blanton is chair of the House Transportation Committee. He actually has been a longtime champion of this project and a longtime champion for his district, which actually is served by this project. So, Chairman Blanton.
Thank you, and thanks to each of you all for being here this afternoon. This is a very important project for me. As a matter of fact, what you haven't heard is the majority of the miles on this new expansion is in my home county, in McGoffin County. And my time with the Mountain Parkway goes back shortly before I was born, not long, but my father-in-law worked on some of the original bridges in the first Mountain Parkway that was built. So I'm being able to, on a different level, see it come to the 4-laning of the Mountain Parkway, which will give us 4-lane access in eastern Kentucky from Winchester all the way to Prestonsburg, Kentucky. This has been a collaborative effort going back to 2 previous governors and to the current governor. Since I came in office, the first 2 projects were just getting underway, and I've been involved with those, and then the continuation of funding, met oftentimes with negativity in it all. They'll fund a few phases and they'll be forgot about. And I'm like, no, we're doing this all the way to Prestonsburg. And it's been a commitment not only at the federal level, but from the executive branch and the legislative branch. This has been a joint effort because we know the impact that it will have for our region. And we're already seeing it in my home county. Just ran into our county judge over the weekend, and we were talking about the interest that's already been shown right off the Mountain Parkway at the Gifford exit for a small industrial park that we have there. To the point we're already talking of putting in the road plan a little over a half-mile of county road to take in and widen to get us to some more flat land that will bring industrial sites to the area coming right off the Mountain Parkway. So we're already seeing progress from this project. And I long to see the completion, and it's coming sooner rather than later for us in eastern Kentucky. This is a project that will not just benefit us now, but it will benefit us for generations to come in eastern Kentucky, an area of the state that we all know that's been hit over the last decade with a lot of job loss and population loss due to the downturn in the coal industry. But this is going to be our lifeline to bring industries into eastern Kentucky and us be able to bring the products that we are able to construct and provide out of eastern Kentucky into the rest of the world. With that, I would be remiss without mentioning Eric Skaggs. Thank you, Eric, for all the hard work and being willing to listen to me every time I call and be responsive. I really appreciate it. Bizak, just today as I'm driving down here through the Mountain Parkway, I'm pointing out to my wife, you see this hill here? They're working on in the snow and rain this morning. It's soon going to be gone. They're moving mountains in order that we can get this project completed. So to everyone that's been involved, I thank you all for your hard work. Know that it is going to pay dividends for generations to come for those of us in eastern Kentucky. And thank you, Governor, for your commitment to seeing this forward. Thank you to the Speaker for never ever telling me no when I've went to him for a budget and say, we got to keep this in here. So to Speaker Osborne, and thank you all for recognizing this project and the importance it means to us in eastern Kentucky. Thank you all.
I have something for you as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your commitment to this project and all your service. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, now I'd like to invite Administrator Todd Jeter to join us. With Administrator Jeter on hand this afternoon, we're able to really drive home the relationship between the federal government and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, a relationship that really is critical to funding projects in infrastructure like the Mountain Parkway. Administrator Jeter.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I want to really thank ACEC and APWA and ASCE and all the firms that they represent. for their leadership and for everything they do to help us in delivering the Fed Aid Highway program. I also want to thank all the leaders from the local and state level and everyone who has helped us to demonstrate what it looks like when people work together to get results. Projects such as these are not just promises for future growth. They represent a tremendous amount of effort by a lot of people to get to this point. The conversion of existing facilities and the creation of a new stretch of the Mountain Parkway is a major undertaking. It requires significant amounts of planning, decision-making, leadership, and commitment to make it happen. As we stand here today in Kentucky, a place that is experiencing such extraordinary growth in jobs and economic activity, it is incumbent upon all of us to support the growth with adequate infrastructure to keep it going. And that's what brings us here today to talk about this terrific project. We are improving on a road design and a system that was set up long before the region looked the way it does today. Modernizing, improving, and expanding the Mountain Parkway is going to help move more goods and people to where they need to go more safely, more efficiently, and with more reliability. What I'm really looking forward to over the course of the next few months and years to come is seeing the extraordinary efforts come to completion. At the end of the day, it is not about a transportation project. It's about the lives that are going to benefit from this work. Thanks again for having me here today, and I'm very glad to be a part of it.
Have an award for you as well, Administrator. Appreciate your efforts. Appreciate Administrator Shaylin Batt and also U.S. DOT Secretary Buttigieg for all the support. Thank you. All right, finally, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the Governor of the Commonwealth, Andy Beshear. Governor.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is amazing to have so many great Kentucky companies doing such great work in this capital today. I am proud to not only have been governor that had helped move this project forward in his first term, but is going to work awfully hard to finish it in his second. And given that I'm now a term-limited governor, I'm going to break the rules a little bit. And I'm going to invite my good friend, Representative Ashley Tackett Lafferty, up here to say a few words outside of John Blanton's county. It's her constituents that are going to benefit so much, that are going to see so many jobs. Representative?
Well, I want to say thank you for this opportunity, Governor. I want to say thank you to everyone who has been involved in this project. The Mountain Parkway Expansion through Prestonsburg is not just a road leading to eastern Kentucky. To us, it's an opportunity to fuel job growth and an avenue to drive the economy throughout our mountains. And I just want to say thanks again, and hopefully we'll be driving it very soon, Governor.
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. In Kentucky, we are building a legacy of infrastructure. Life-changing infrastructure that will have positive impacts on Kentucky's families for generations to come. We've secured federal funding to make sure high-speed internet gets to every home and every business across our state. Families are getting clean drinking water, many of them, for the first time. We're building the Brent Spence Companion Bridge without tolls, pushing forward the I-69 project, and we're four-laning the entire Mountain Parkway. We are truly in our Eisenhower moment. And it's because of hard work of folks like y'all, our engineers, technicians, maintenance workers, project coordinators, and so many more. Because we have folks like you working on these projects, I know we're going to get them done. Nowhere is this more obvious than on the Mountain Parkway project. The Mountain Parkway expansion is more than a half-century in the making. And during so many of those decades, people have wondered, will it ever get done? And collectively, we looked at them and said, watch us. Right now, 100% of this project is either completed, under construction, or under contract, the first time we've ever been able to say that about the four-laning of the Mountain Parkway. We have folks working in Wolfe and Magoffin counties to widen the existing road from 2 lanes to 4. And the final 13-mile segment of the project, known as the McGoffin-Floyd, is under development. In August, we announced that Bizak Construction is the lead design build contractor for the final segment. This means that an Eastern Kentucky company is going to finish the 4-laning of the Mountain Parkway with Eastern Kentuckians doing the hard work. This shows you that infrastructure creates jobs. It creates jobs not just in the construction, but you heard from both state representatives, it creates construction during and after. I mean, hearing about the first business, Emerald Energy, that located or relocated in McGoffin County because of this project, already preparing for that 4-lane. And we know that's happening right now in Floyd County as well. Just think about how long these areas in eastern Kentucky have suffered from lack of infrastructure, from companies saying, if only there was a 4-lane parkway. Now, we're going to be able to provide that infrastructure to them. And to take great sites like the Thunder Ridge site in Floyd County and so many others, and put that next great employer looking for a great workforce that is already waiting in those counties. I want to thank Bizak along with Palmer Engineering of Winchester right at the beginning of that Mountain Parkway and going to see it all the way through. Hayden Bridge Company of Springfield, Bush and Burchett from Prestonsburg, S&ME Incorporated of Lexington, and Civil Design Incorporated of Louisville. Let's give a big round of applause to all these Kentucky companies. We are moving the Mountain Parkway expansion forward at a record pace. And just last week, another big step forward was taken. We've received the federal approval of the supplemental environmental assessment document evaluating the impacts of this final section. We had to get that evaluation. It now goes to public hearings, but that was the next big environmental step that we needed so we can get forward, we can get some shovels or maybe heavier equipment in the ground, getting these final sections done. And I remain committed to fighting for every last dollar that's needed, not just to get the project done, but to get it done as quickly as we can. Remember, every day that goes by that we have this under development, that we don't have it done, is one day that these citizens of Eastern Kentucky lack the artery that they need for a better life. I mean, we call it an artery, and we all think about our circulatory system. It's what brings life to different parts of our body. And it's what's going to bring so many jobs and so much economic development to this region. And we talk about that in terms and phrases like economic development, but what it is opportunity for our kids and for the kids of Eastern Kentucky that far too often have been faced with the tough choice of moving or changing their dreams. This is going to unlock possibilities where no matter how big they dream, no matter what they want to do in life, they can chase it right there in Eastern Kentucky. The new Mountain Parkway will bring in new visitors to Eastern Kentucky at a time when adventure and outdoor tourism is hotter than it's ever been. It's going to make it easier for folks to drive to access health care or to see their families. This widened route will mean easier access for trucks, increasing the appeal for companies to locate there. And most importantly, it'll be safer. As governor, but most importantly as a dad, we talk about logistics, we talk about movement of freight, but the most important thing we ever put in our vehicles are our families. This new route, the 4-lane Mountain Parkway, will make it safer for Eastern Kentucky families to get to work, to get to church, to get to school. We will see fewer accidents and we will save more lives. The new segment through eastern McGoffin and Floyd counties will be like an interstate-like corridor with a divided highway. Without the driveways and secondary roads that connect to Kentucky 114, that's going to drastically reduce conflict points as well as high-speed head-on collisions. To everyone who works on this project, you should be proud. You are delivering on a 60-year promise of a 4-lane Mountain Parkway, a promise that's been made since Governor Bert Combs broke ground on the initial parkway in 1963. This project is an example of the amazing work that our engineers and public works folks do every day, each of them Each of you play a critical role in the future of our Commonwealth. I also want to thank the many members of Team Kentucky that have helped make this happen, from Secretary Jim Gray and the great team at the Transportation Cabinet. Just think about what they've done in the last 4 years. They have been working on 3 mega projects all at the same time, unheard of. They've been doing their day job during that. The Minnie to Herald now open. What an incredible project, and those types of projects all over the Commonwealth. And they've responded to not one, but multiple natural disasters, historic natural disasters, helping people get back on their feet, helping to house people in the interim, and helping us build high ground communities in the East. This is truly the greatest work that our Transportation Cabinet has ever done. Let's give them a round of applause for everything they do. And I appreciate our federal partners and the shout out for what's going on in Kentucky, because you're right. I mean, we are on an economic win streak, the likes of which we have never seen. More jobs, more investment in the last 4 years than under any other governor. $29.3 billion of new investment in us. We're doing things the world has never seen, like building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth, the cleanest recycled paper mill the world's ever seen in Henderson. We've created 51,700 new jobs together. We're creating good jobs, an average $26 an hour of the new jobs we've announced in the last 3 years alone. This is our chance, our opportunity as Kentucky to leapfrog so many other states' economies, to never be a flyover state ever again, but to be the destination. No one is ever going to be able to look down on us ever again with what we are doing. And it's time that Kentucky took its place as an economic powerhouse in this country. In the post-COVID world, that's our opportunity. That's the promise that's in front of us, and we've got to grasp it. Part of grasping it is through this budget. Through this budget, we've got to make sure that we move these projects forward, both through the amount that Secretary Gray talked about in our road plan, along with the $300 million I've asked for to push both the Mountain Parkway and I-69 forward. We know through the Brent Spence Bridge application that the more we budget, the extra that we budget, helps us bring down federal dollars, and I'm told helps us pick up the pace, because I want to drive that whole 4-lane Mountain Parkway while I'm still governor. We think about the other things that it's going to take to move us forward. It's that internet expansion. It's investments in our ports and in our airports, but it's also investments in the original workforce development programs, and those are our public schools. It is time that we step up and provide that 11% raise to every single public school employee, so that we continue to create the best workforce, the next group of engineers and those that work on public works all over Kentucky. It's time that we fund universal pre-K, so we don't have half of our kids showing up for kindergarten not ready and falling behind. It's time for universal pre-K, along with our plan for child care, where we will solve 1/4 of this problem, getting more people back to work and filling these jobs. It's time that we fully fund our KPDI Build Ready site programs to make sure that everywhere we're building these 4 lanes, that we have those next sites for businesses ready to go. It's time that we fund public safety the way that we need to, and we improve the health care of our people. It's time for all that because of projects like this, and because Kentucky is racing to the forefront of this nation's economy, becoming a true economic and moral leader. That wouldn't be possible without so many people in this room, in this rotunda, that have believed in this Commonwealth for so long, that have helped push our infrastructure ahead, that have hired Kentuckians at their highest and their lowest points, and that ultimately work hard every single day through the private sector to make sure that we push this state forward. And what I know is the way we achieve this promise is together, not pushing the politics of division and anger or hatred, but one where we recognize that we are all Kentuckians, and what we're doing today builds a better future for every single person that comes after us. So I think everybody in here gets the lesson, but remember, life is short. Our job is to do good things, to be kind to each other, and to leave the world a little bit better than we found it. And everybody, please take your time going home. You're going to drive on amazing roads, but we've had a little bit of inclement weather. But I love how y'all are building them every single day, and these projects help them withstand anything that Mother Nature can throw at us. We are proud Kentuckians, and today we are celebrating a proud Kentucky project. This investment by the federal government, every dollar they put into our infrastructure is invaluable and moves us forward. Every economist that you'll talk to, from the conservative to the others, will say that whether we are in a time of plenty or a time of recession, investing in infrastructure is always a wise investment. And that bill that I call the bipartisan infrastructure law, and you all have the different acronym for it, is one of the best pieces of legislation that has passed in my lifetime. We've been working on something like this since my dad was elected governor in 2007, and it has happened. And just look at everything that's going on because of it. So I'm proud of our entire federal delegation, including Senator Mitch McConnell, who voted for that legislation. That was something we did together, and now this is something amazing we're doing together too. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have something here for you as well.
All right.
Governor Beshear, I want to thank you for your participation here today, for one, for the rotunda, the use of the rotunda,
Yes.
but also for your leadership and the vision that you had to help see this project through. So really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Tell you what, can we get all the Kentucky team
I like it.
that's working on the project and has done anything? Will you all come up and get a picture with me with this? You all are the reason that we're able to do it.
Their engineers are a little shy.
Come on.
Come on, guys.
We know y'all. We wrote this into the contract, so come on up. Good to see y'all. We need to balance out a little over here, too. Kentucky is building Kentucky. That's what we like to see. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Good to see you all. Thank you, Governor. Keep up the good work. Hey, Tom, good to see you. We appreciate you. So keep up the good work, and thank you. Wouldn't be here without you. Good to see you. Thanks, Governor. Appreciate you.
Thank you again, Governor Beshear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal part of the program, but as you see, there are a lot of engineers and public works officials that are here, and I hope you'll take a few minutes to talk with them, talk a little bit about this project, and really talk about the great things that they do and what they deliver for Kentuckians every day. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.